Gentlemen, let us face a universal truth. A tailored blazer makes you look powerful, but it is rarely comfortable enough for a lazy Sunday afternoon. On the other hand, a hooded sweatshirt is incredibly comfortable, but wearing one over the age of 50 instantly strips away your dignity. You look like a man trying to relive his college days. So, what is the solution? How do you maintain authority and cinematic elegance when you just want to relax with a glass of scotch or run a weekend errand? Enter the ultimate old money hybrid, the Shawl Collar Cardigan. This is not your grandfather's thin, flimsy button-down sweater. This is a heavy, richly textured garment that commands respect. It offers the structural power of a tailored jacket with the luxurious comfort of a cashmere blanket. Today, I'm going to show you why the shawl cardigan is the only piece of casual outerwear a mature gentleman truly needs. Let's elevate your comfort. Part 1. The power of the collar and framing the face. Let us examine the architecture of the upper body. When you wear a standard crew neck or a thin V-neck sweater, the fabric sits entirely flat against your collarbone. It does nothing to enhance your physical presence. It merely covers your torso. In cinematic terms, the clothes you wear on your upper half serve one primary purpose: to frame your face. As we age, our jawlines naturally soften. We lose some of the sharp, angular definition of our youth. This is where the architectural magic of the shawl collar cardigan reveals itself. The defining feature of this garment is the collar, a continuous thick curve of heavy knitted fabric that folds back around the back of the neck and cascades down the chest. It is not a flimsy piece of cotton. It has significant weight. It has three-dimensional structure. This rolled collar acts exactly like the sweeping lapel of a bespoke Italian suit jacket. When you pull a heavy shawl cardigan over your shoulders, something transformative happens to your proportions. The sheer thickness of the folded collar builds up your neck and shoulder line. It instantly makes your chest appear broader and your shoulders more robust. It organically creates a masculine V shape that tapers down to your waist, naturally enhancing your silhouette without requiring you to spend hours lifting weights. It hides the imperfections and amplifies the strengths. More importantly, this thick, rolling collar frames your face like a masterpiece in a gallery. Imagine walking into a dimly lit lounge. A man in a flat, thin sweater blends into the background. A man wearing a heavy, textured shawl cardigan dominates the room. The collar casts subtle shadows, highlighting the rugged contours of a mature face. It draws the observer's eye upward, away from the midsection, and anchors it directly on your eyes. You look commanding. You look like a man of substance. You evoke the timeless, rugged sophistication of Steve McQueen on a misty morning. This is the essence of old money style. Achieving a powerful physical presence through the masterful structure of high-quality garments rather than relying on desperate trends. Submerged to Part 2, Texture over Graphics, the Cinematic Aesthetic. Because, gentlemen, true luxury does not scream, it whispers. When you observe the wardrobes of genuinely stylish men, the icons of old money and Italian elegance, you will notice a complete absence of visible branding. There are no giant logos, no loud patterns, and certainly no graphic prints. So if your clothing lacks these loud distractions, how do you stand out in a room? How do you create an outfit that looks undeniably expensive and visually captivating? The answer is texture. This is the secret language of the cinematic aesthetic. In film, master costume designers use heavily textured fabrics because of how they interact with light and shadow on camera. A flat, smooth synthetic sweater absorbs light uniformly, making you look like a two-dimensional cardboard cutout. Even worse, thin fabrics cling to the body, highlighting every lump, bump, and imperfection underneath. However, a heavy, chunky knit shawl cardigan behaves entirely differently. Whether it is a thick-ribbed knit, a waffle weave, or a classic cable knit, the three-dimensional terrain of the wool catches the light and casts micro-shadows across your chest and arms. This creates a rugged, deeply masculine depth. It makes the garment look substantial and rich. It evokes images of a mahogany-paneled study, a vintage sports car, or a windy walk along the coast. It is visual storytelling through fabric. Furthermore, heavy texture is the ultimate camouflage for the mature physique. A thick cashmere or heavy merino wool blend does not cling to your waistline like cheap cotton. It drapes. The sheer weight of the heavy yarn pulls the garment downward in clean, straight lines, skimming effortlessly over your midsection. If you carry a bit of extra weight around the belly, the thick, textured fabric acts as architectural armor. It absorbs the curves and creates a strong, unified, and commanding silhouette. When you purchase a shawl cardigan, you must prioritize the weight and the weave. Avoid thin, flimsy cardigans that feel like tissue paper. They drape poorly and look cheap. Demand thick, substantial knits. In the realm of quiet luxury, texture is what separates the boys in their shiny polyester tracksuits from the men in their heritage wool. Part 3. The Steve McQueen Styling, How to Wear It. Owning a high-quality shawl collar cardigan is only half the battle. Knowing how to execute the look is what separates the amateur from the icon. When we talk about this specific garment, we must invoke the king of cool, Steve McQueen. He understood that true style looks effortless, as if you simply threw on the nearest piece of clothing and coincidentally looked like a millionaire. This cardigan is the ultimate layering tool, seamlessly bridging the gap between rugged masculinity and country club refinement. Here are the two primary ways to style it. The rugged weekend, layer 1. This is your weekend uniform. It's comfortable enough for lounging, but sharp enough for a sudden lunch invitation. Start with the foundation we built in the previous videos. A pair of dark, raw selvedge denim jeans and your leather boots. For the base layer, skip the collared shirt. Instead, wear a textured charcoal waffle Henley or a pristine white heavyweight crew neck t-shirt. Now throw a heavy navy or forest green shawl cardigan over the top. The contrast between the rugged denim, the utilitarian Henley, and the luxurious heavy wool of the cardigan creates a stunning visual dynamic. It screams effortless masculinity. Leave the cardigan unbuttoned for a relaxed, flowing silhouette, or button the middle buttons if the wind picks up. It is the perfect outfit for driving a classic car or enjoying a Sunday coffee. The Smart Casual Masterclass, Layer 2. When a tailored suit is too formal, but a t-shirt is entirely unacceptable, the shawl cardigan steps in as the perfect blazer alternative. This is for dinner dates, creative offices, or evening events. Begin with a crisp, light blue Oxford cloth button-down, OCBD shirt, or one of the silk cotton knitted polos we discussed. Tuck it into a pair of tailored charcoal gray flannel trousers. Finally, layer a rich camel or oatmeal shawl cardigan over it. The thick collar of the cardigan perfectly frames the collar of the shirt beneath it. Complete the look with your brown suede penny loafers. You have instantly achieved the aesthetic of a wealthy author or an off-duty film director. It is highly sophisticated, yet it feels as comfortable as wearing your pajamas. The golden rule of buttons. There is one absolute rule when wearing any cardigan, inherited directly from the rules of the suit jacket: never ever button the bottom button. Fastening the bottom button restricts your movement, pulls the fabric tightly across your hips, and destroys the natural, elegant drape of the wool. Leave the bottom button undone to allow the garment to flare slightly and sit smoothly over your waistline. Part 4. The Hardware, Details Matter. Gentlemen, the devil is always in the details. You can find a heavy textured shawl cardigan that fits you perfectly, woven from the finest merino wool, but if the manufacturer cuts corners on the hardware, the entire illusion of quiet luxury shatters instantly. In classic menswear, the hardware, specifically the buttons, is the ultimate lie detector test for quality. It tells the observer immediately whether you bought an heirloom piece or a fast fashion compromise. Let us talk about the plastic epidemic. Most modern sweaters are ruined by cheap, shiny, fragile plastic buttons. They reflect artificial light in a cheap, harsh way. They look like they belong on a child's toy, not a mature man's wardrobe. Worse, they crack easily and chip over time. When you are wearing a garment that exudes rugged masculinity and cinematic elegance, a shiny plastic button is a jarring visual contradiction. It is the exact equivalent of putting cheap plastic hubcaps on a vintage Aston Martin. To achieve the true old money aesthetic, you must demand natural materials. When you inspect a cardigan, look closely at the fasteners. You want genuine horn, woven leather, or solid dark wood. Genuine horn. Buttons. This is the gold standard of bespoke tailoring. Real horn buttons have a beautiful matte finish with natural, unique variations in the grain. No two buttons are exactly alike. They absorb light gracefully rather than reflecting it aggressively. They signal to anyone who understands classic menswear that you appreciate subtle, uncompromising luxury. Leather-wrapped football buttons, these are iconic, made from strips of leather woven tightly together. They add an incredible textural contrast against the heavy wool knit. They evoke the aristocratic academic aesthetic of an English countryside estate or a vintage Ivy League library. As they age, the leather develops a rich, dark patina, meaning your sweater will actually look better 10 years from now than it does today. The buttonholes. Finally, quality hardware requires quality construction. Check the buttonholes. They must be tightly bound with heavy, dense thread, not loose and fraying. A heavy cardigan exerts tension. A cheap buttonhole will stretch and sag under the weight, ruining the straight vertical line of the garment. Do not let a 3-cent piece of plastic destroy your entire look. Pay attention to the hardware. Part 5. Realstin, the old money color palette. Gentlemen, we must address the final pillar of the shawl collar cardigan, the color. You can buy the thickest cashmere knit with the finest genuine horn buttons, but if it is woven in neon yellow or bright primary red, you have completely defeated the purpose. Bright, saturated colors scream for attention. They signal insecurity. True old money style relies on a palette that is grounded, earthy, and deeply masculine. Furthermore, as men over 50, we must choose colors that harmonize with our silver hair and complement our changing skin tones rather than fighting against them. Here are the 4 core colors you should target when investing in this ultimate sweater. 1. Navy blue, the absolute king. If you are only going to buy one cardigan, make it navy. It is the fountain of youth for the mature man. It provides a stunning high-contrast backdrop for silver, white, or salt and pepper hair, making you look distinguished and authoritative. Navy absorbs light, naturally slimming your torso, and it pairs flawlessly with every pair of jeans or trousers in your closet. It is nautical, classic, and completely foolproof. 2. Camel and oatmeal, the pinnacle of luxury. Nothing whispers wealth quite like a thick camel or oatmeal knit. These soft, warm earth tones are the signature colors of ultra-luxury Italian houses. While stark white can wash you out and look clinical, oatmeal softens the harsh lines of the face and gives your skin a healthy, subtle glow. Wearing a camel cardigan over a crisp white shirt instantly transforms you from a regular guy into a man who owns an equestrian estate. 3. Charcoal gray, the sharp alternative. Many men default to solid black. Do not make this mistake. Black can be incredibly harsh on mature skin, highlighting dark circles and wrinkles. Charcoal gray is the thinking man's alternative. It retains the dark industrial edge and slimming properties of black, but its textured, heathered appearance softens the blow. It looks incredibly sharp when layered over a light gray or white base layer. 4. Forest green, the rugged outdoorsman. Often overlooked, a deep, rich forest green or military olive is a masterclass in rugged elegance. It evokes the feeling of a vintage Land Rover, a hunting lodge, or a library full of leather-bound books. It is earthy, masculine, and pairs exceptionally well with dark brown leather boots and indigo denim. Stick to this palette. These colors do not beg to be noticed, they simply demand to be respected. Gentlemen, style over 50 is not about wearing stiff, uncomfortable suits every day, nor is it about surrendering to baggy sweatpants. It is about finding garments that offer both supreme comfort and undeniable authority. The shawl collar cardigan is that garment. It is an investment in your physical presence. And when you put it on, you're not just wearing a sweater, you're wearing architecture. Throw away the college hoodies. Invest in one heavy, beautifully textured shawl cardigan this season. Let the collar frame your face, let the texture do the talking, and watch how differently the world treats you. Now you have the perfect foundation and the ultimate layer. But what happens when you need to dress up just a bit more, yet you still hate wearing a stiff jacket? In our next video, we will cover the ultimate Italian cheat code, the unstructured navy blazer, how to look 10 years younger. Click the video on your screen now. I will see you there.